Okay, everybody, this is Larry on the Custom Saber Group Facebook page. Apparently, there's still some debate on what Ultrasabers is and what Ultrasabers isn't. So, hopefully, I'll clarify this. First off, I'm what I would call a vendor independent saber enthusiast slash hobby crafter. I understand most of the basic electronics that go into a saber, and generally they're universal regardless of the smith you're talking about. There is virtually zero difference between, I guess I would say, the basic principles of how to wire a saber. So with that being said, if you want an actual review on an Ultra saber, I have two in front of you out of the 5 sabers I've purchased in the last 2 years or so. The one on the pedestal is a V2 Initiate that initially I bought as a stunt saber, but I rewired it to have sound. In particular, one of the benefits of buying an Ultra Saber is that they offer RGB ready stunts for, I would say, a reasonable cost. They're all out of aluminum. They're highly durable. This saber's actually been in duels for the last 2 summers. My son owns this one. I actually made it for him for his birthday. Um, it's a blue saber. It's not as bright because there's only one LED die, uh, and eventually I'll probably upgrade it to a brighter LED with multiple dies. But for the price I paid, which was around $50, it was a good starter saber for my son. I'm not gonna spend money on a Cadillac when he should be driving a Pinto. Second is this saber down here. That was a stunt that I got. It's actually a Liberator V3. Um, it came in, it worked fine. I dueled with it a little bit, and then decided to repurpose this saber for uh, a build that I'm doing. That I'm just gonna leave at that. I'm not gonna keep it the way it looks currently. It's gonna be scavenged for parts and whatnot. Now, the average person is going to ask me, well, you got 2 stunts and you rewired one for sound. Well, what's the deal? Well, I rewired one for sound because one of the drawbacks with Ultra Sabers is that for the features you get with their soundboard, it's somewhat expensive. There was better, less expensive alternatives to buying sound with Ultra Sabers, and that's just the truth, the real truth. But besides that, everything else was fine. They worked. The wiring was fine. I didn't have any issues with them. I have 3 other sabers that were sound slash stunts, and they haven't had issues to date either. Otherwise, the people who I gave them to as gifts would have told me by now. So yes, I did modify my own sabers, but that was because of my own choice, not because of something misfunctioning. So I'm 5 for 5 versus some people that might be 0 for 1. So the real truth about Ultra Sabers is they're okay. Know what you're getting. Read the reviews, real reviews, who can talk about the actual beefs with the sabers themselves. Not, oh, I had an issue with them, so they all suck. No, the issue with this one that I had was that A, the sound was overpriced for what I thought was available, and B, they don't do certain things in sabers that I would expect them to do. Point one, the people at Saberforce said their wiring is shoddy. That's 100% true. It can be shoddy at times. I've seen pictures, I've seen, my own personal sabers that have had wiring issues that I rewired myself. But I knew that before I bought Ultra Sabers. Okay? Another thing that I have a legitimate beef about is them not using thermal compound on their LED stars. I assumed, being a tech guy myself, that, proper heat sinking would take place in the sabers themselves due to the excessive heat that LEDs generate. Even the small 3-watt sabers, quote unquote, generate a lot of heat. They should have thermal compound. They don't. And I really wish Ultrasabers would change that. Is it their job to change it? No, but I've told them point blank, hey, you guys really should do this. I've told other smiths, hey, it's not a good thing that there isn't thermal compound on your stars. And Ultrasabers isn't the only one. That's my personal preference. I take their saber apart and I put thermal compound in it. If I get any saber from anywhere else, I'm going to take that LED apart and put thermal compound on there if there isn't any. It isn't just Ultrasabers that does that. I would like to see that improved across the board. Besides that, everything else is pretty much status quo. You can get parts that fit from the custom saber shop. This isn't a pommel that you get from Ultrasabers. It's MHS compatible. The stars come ready for color mixing right out the box. Whether or not the star is optimized, okay, you want to discuss that, that's fine. If I was going for a budget conscious saber, this might be an option. It's, like I said, around 50 or 60 bucks shipped, depending on when you catch a deal with Ultrasabers. It's a nice starter. This one was free because I purchased X amount of dollars. It's going to be great for what I'm choosing to do in the near future, which I'll post another video on when I'm completed with it. I don't really know what else to say to quote unquote dispel all the rumors that every single product that comes out of Ultrasabers is crap. It's not. It's hit or miss, just like any other company. People have issues. People have RMAs. If I bought something from China and I tried to return it, yeah, it's gonna be a pain in the ass. Sorry, that's just the truth about being a consumer. And regardless of how personal it might feel to you, it's not personal. It's business. Things happen in shipping. You're shipping things 3,000-4,000 miles. What do you expect? Shit happens. Sorry, but it does. And I would say, yes, it does help that I understand the basics and know how to fix issues when I have them. If you don't want to or don't know how to fix issues, then yes, it's understandable that you would want to look elsewhere. So here's a video to tell you that there are good things and there are bad things about sabers, regardless of what smith you purchase them from. And that's kind of the moral of the story. If you have any specific questions, I'm on the Facebook group. I've retrofitted Ultrasabers. I build MHS sabers from the custom saber shop. I work with Phil and really appreciate him and his business. Justin, Daniel, Steph, everybody at Saberforge are great people to deal with. I'm eagerly awaiting my first saber from them, which I should be getting soon. Vader's Vault's great. Deanna and Alan are like my gurus. So they all have places in this hobby, and doing and beating your chest about something that is somewhat irrelevant to the actual issues at hand, which is giving quality sabers, is not going to help us get the hobby better and in a good place. Talk about the tech, talk about your experience all you want, but don't let it be the definitive answer on whether or not you purchase a saber from one smith or another. That's all. And sorry for preaching, but I just get a little irritated with videos that don't talk about the tech or the differences, the pros and cons about buying a saber from a particular vendor. I could sit here and cry and pout about things all day, but is it really going to help people decide whether or not to purchase something? Unless they know the true ins and outs of owning a saber from a particular vendor, you're not really helping. And I hate to be blunt like that, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Thank you very much. Have a good night.